I don't know what else or how else to approach this situation. Coming up next. Welcome to the Homeschooling Mindset, guys. My name is Maritza, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. If you have already been following us, thank you so much for subscribing and for your support. Today, I want to talk about how, guys, that I really don't know what else to do. Can someone tell me, okay, I've read many books, I've done the research, nowhere can I find some kind of a study or something that can help me make my child like to do homework or like to do workbook stuff. There's just nothing out there. Now, what I did find is very interesting. I read a book from, I think it's Alfie Kohn. I read a book from Alfie Kohn, and man, I felt like it was a spanking. Well, not for my children, but for me. I felt like, wait a second, I have been doing this wrong. I'm going about this in a wrong way. Okay, so let me start here. This book showed me the importance of building a relationship, a connection with my child, right? I've talked about it in many other videos, correct? We know that, relationship goes first. But what do we do when we want our child to do their work? Do we choose punishment or do we choose a bribe? And I usually always tend to go for the bribe. I always tend to go for the, if you do your work, you can use your phone. If you do your work, and you do XYZ for 30 days, you can get some Kirby game that he wanted. Okay, perfect, great, wonderful. And then guess what? So he does all his work and boom, he gets the Kirby game. But guess what happens? We're back to square one because now I have to find another bribe to get him to do the work. And what have I found? That whether I use a bribe or whether I use a consequence or some kind of, I'll take away your phone, you can't watch TV. There's one factor that is the same, like there's this underlying factor that doesn't go away. And all that I'm trying to do here, whether it's a bribe or a consequence, I'm trying to control my child to do something. I want him to obey. I want him to make my life easier by doing his work. Because if I have him home, then he needs to do his work. Otherwise, he needs to go to school, right? Because he can't spend all day basically coloring or just drawing or watching TV or doing nothing. Okay, right? Well, I'm wrong. I'm coming to this homeschool idea from a completely with a wrong perspective. I didn't realize that underneath the bribe and the consequence is my need to control the situation. I need control. I need some kind of, I'm the boss, and I share this with you because it's not something that I'm doing consciously. So I thought to myself, Lord, is it that bad for my child? So I asked these questions, and I want to know if you can, if you've done this. If I allow my child to watch TV all day, okay, like he wants to do, then I avoid having an issue with him, right? But then if I add some kind of order and some discipline and some routine and workbook stuff, then I feel at peace because I feel like he's learning, right? So guys, what do I do? What do I do? Do I continue to bribe? Do I continue to issue consequences to control the situation and have a sense of control and get my son to learn? This honestly has led me down more research and more reading because I just find myself in this like no way out zone. And no matter what I do or how I approach this, I feel like I'm always losing, or I'm losing, or my child is losing. How do I find that balance? I found this. We need, as parents, as homeschooling parents, we need to tap into even further on understanding how children learn. And I realized something today. My child has learned more through conversation, the conversations that we've had, than through the moments that we spend doing workbook stuff. Second, my child has learned more when we are doing activities together as a family than by sitting down and doing the work. So it makes me think, how do I even approach this whole homeschool situation? What do I even do? Should I remove the workbook stuff? Should I pursue unschooling? Do you guys know what unschooling is? I was so new. It was so new to me. And I feel like unschooling is scary. You know, it's this like scary idea. Why? Because there are no rules. There are no workbook or organized curriculum to follow. You're basically living life as you go. And think about that. Living life as you go. Learning happens naturally. And I feel like I'm more and more attracted to the idea of unschooling because there is not that pressure of having to finish a deadline. There isn't the pressure of this is the only way that a child can learn. You know, he has to do the workbook stuff. And I have found that there are a multitude of ways for children to learn, and it doesn't have to be structured learning. It can be free-based learning, natural, organic education. So it led me down a path of finding out what an organic education, what does that entail? What does that even mean? You know, what does it mean to have an organic homeschool style? And I will share with you what I have found on my next video. But in the meantime, I want you to put the comments down below. What do you guys think about the whole bribes and consequences? What have you done? Do you feel like you find yourself bribing your child or issuing consequences? Let me know how that goes, and we will talk about organic homeschool on the next video. Organic education. I really want to share with you guys what I find along the way, and share with me what you have found. If you have come across unschooling, and have you practiced unschooling in your home? What has that been like? You know, I feel better when there is structure in our home. I feel better when we're following a curriculum. I feel better. But if you notice, I continue to say, I feel better. It makes me feel good. What? And it makes me, and I want to share with you this question so that you can reflect. What makes you feel better, right? Think about what makes you feel better, but what makes your child feel good? What makes your child feel good about him or herself? What makes them feel great as human beings? Because I think it goes back to that. We began homeschooling. My family began homeschooling because I want to help my child reach his most potential, be his best self. I want him to become his most authentic self. I want him to feel good and happy about who he is and what he does and what he wants to pursue. So how can doing workbook stuff, bribing, and issuing consequences, can that help him be happy with himself? So I wanted to share that with you guys. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. At the end of the day, we want our children to be good human beings and impact society in positive ways, right? So thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and see you soon.